Hey everybody, welcome back to another CoffeeCast. This time we're coming to you from, well, the outside of a very sunny Wailuku Coffee Company with an art guy who is also a retired guy who was also kind of a, well, you'll see, he's been all around the world. Please welcome Mark Levno, right? And today, because I thought, the last time we tried one of these videos, we actually had a lunch. This time, we're going to have a dessert snack. This is the vegan pecan and I think it's raspberry crumble.
Oh.
So, have at it. Of course, I'm enjoying it with the good summer drink that is the lemonade that they make here all the time at the Wailuku Coffee Company. Today, though, we'll be talking about the artwork that you see around the shop because that's your doing, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay, first off, I am not an artist. I do not understand art. So, how do you art?
How do you do art? So a big part of art is simplifying the image, especially photography.
Yeah.
So one of the major ways of creating some order and hopefully some beauty is to exclude things that jumble up the idea or the image.
So you have to basically have that right moment, that right light, that right, I guess, eyesight to know when to find those things, because your medium is photography.
That's correct.
So, well, like, what do? Do you just sit around and look at stuff and go, you know what? Yeah, I could see that, but not now. Or there's too many people in front of that. I could totally do that.
Yes.
But maybe later or earlier. Is that kind of the process of doing this type work?
So the standard thing in photography, especially if for nature or landscape photography, is the idea of the golden hour, which is about half an hour before sunrise and maybe half hour, 45 minutes after. So that's when the light typically is the best. So if you're really interested in doing landscapes, that's a good time to be out.
Because I know some people say my golden hour is right 1 hour ahead of before I go to sleep. That's the best I will look all day, is right as soon as that. No, I'm just kidding. But it is kind of always about timing. A lot of people don't think it, because they think, okay, you've got to get the right equipment, you got to get the right lenses, and have some sort of divine gift, and that's it. That's all you need. But there's actually some planning going on there, isn't there?
Oh yeah. So with Photoshop or software programs now, it's possible to do a little adding in. So what I do, for example, is saying, oh, this would be really neat, this image, if I combined it with this part over here and maybe a skyline from a third image.
This is something. It's buildings, it's sky, air, all the stuff that we know. But there's a feeling in it. How do you find that? Because I want to say I came here earlier and I was just kind of staring at all the pictures on the wall. A couple of people thought I was creepy. It's okay, I understand. But there is like a kind of a loneliness and emptiness to your pictures. What is the feeling behind some of these? Because it seems to evoke some sort of expansiveness. And I'm going to get philosophical here, and we shouldn't do that. But what kind of... Hey, reggae fan on a moped.
Yes.
Yeah, so this feeling, how do you find that feeling, and how do you get it to go into the thing that's hanging up on the wall in there?
Boy, I don't know how to answer that exactly. So it's mainly a matter of photographing what appeals to me, and then combining it and to enhance that, so it kind of fine tunes it.
So you find the thing that basically speaks to you, and then you take the picture of it, and then you fine tune it in post, or you do most of your work in camera?
So it's both.
Okay.
So it's finding the right image, the right time, the right light, and then doing the pictures, and then the post processing.
this is the thing, though. You said you like to take pictures of stuff that appeals to you. I said that your pictures look kind of lonely and there's solitude and there's... what kind of dark individual are you to take these kind of images? I mean, you know, not to sound spooked out, but a couple of those, I'm like, this is clearly a place that somebody plans to hide a body. I'm kidding, of course.
So that could be more a reflection of you than it is me, yeah?
Who knows? Who knows?
Could be that I'm just thinking, oh, this is incredibly beautiful.
Yeah, and it's weird, though, because I see people, you know, being creepy like I was earlier, staring at some of your pictures, and some people kind of looked at them and, you know, there was a somber expression, kind of like a certain reverence to it, and then there was others that were kind of happy and jovial, and how can one thing cause so many different reactions?
Well, no, we just bring ourselves to the image, right?
So, when you talk about bringing yourself, it's also, hey, how's it going, Josh? It's also about yourself, because you're the artist at this moment. So what is it that made you get into this?
I just liked the way things look. I got started in doing slides years ago, and the thing that appealed to me about slides is the great contrast between light and dark that you can get with a projected image, and also the intensity and the color, approaches what you see in real life.
Yeah. You know, I've always heard that slides were the gateway drug to photography. A lot of my friends went down the slide path. I've never seen them since. I mean, so after you did the slides and you were thoroughly hooked, I mean, what was your first big thought process of like, okay, I'm going to create, and I'm going to create. What was that?
So I decided, I think I need to get into prints, right? And it'd be nice to be able to use the photo processing software that's available now. So, but that's a huge transition from doing slides, which is very direct, very immediate.
Very small.
Yep.
Very small.
You get pretty much whatever's in the frame to, well, we've got this image. Now, how do we manipulate it so it's going to look good on a piece of paper? And
that's kind of a process that you go through with photography. It could look good to the eye. You know, I could look over there across the street and be like, that's a great, lovely building. It's not a lovely building. But I could say, it's a lovely building, and I could want to take a picture of it, but there's nothing there to that. You kind of have to have more of a studied approach to an image, don't you? You kind of have to consider what it's saying by being there, don't you?
Yep.
So, I know this is going to sound crazy, but the emotion and stuff that I see in your pictures, it comes from a place that is just, I don't know, open, expansive. What is, when you talk about your vision, because everybody talks about, you know, what are you trying to see out of the camera? What are you trying to see?
Ooh, that's a difficult question.
Well, I mean, I know you don't want to see people because you're getting up really early before other people get up, and you're taking pictures of structures.
Yeah.
So
or
people,
landscapes, yeah.
Not in your range of field or field of view there, but when you're like this picture, I think it's of the church out towards Hana, and everybody knows the church I'm talking about. It's really kind of eternal, but at the same time sad, but at the same time happy and lighthearted. And then, which one were you thinking of when you saw it? Just, hey, nice church, click, and moved on?
So it's a picturesque church. It's very small. It's old. It's well-worn. And it's in a beautiful valley. So the contrast of this man-made object within the valley is what appealed to me.
It does seem to be like a lot of the images that you take is something jutting up from somewhere. It's never just, oh, here's an expensive city shot, or here's an expensive country shot. It's, here's a little bit of this, but then there's something in there. Do you seem to you seem to live in a cluttered world where things are just jutted into your head every so often.
Well, my wife would tell you that I live in a cluttered world, but
all wives would tell us that. My wife would tell you I live in a cluttered world. But cluttered seems to be the artistic way, you know? I mean, that's the excuse I use. So you can try that one from now on. It's no, I'm artistic.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, this is
I'll
all
let you know
part of
how
the
that works.
process. But your process is pretty straightforward. You do structures. You like to get them during the golden hour. I think that's the same guy on the moped. But
maybe he wants to be interviewed.
No. All I know is he's got a good soundtrack. I might like flag him down and grab a couple songs. But the thing is, it's like when we talk about your stuff, I know that the interview that we're having to re-record this one from, we talked a little bit about your history, a little bit about working in social work and working with people. Do you ever find yourself taking pictures for other people, like being their eyes more than your own?
No. So years ago, I had idea about, maybe I could make a living with photography. So I began doing photographs and thinking about what's going to sell. So I didn't do that very long, maybe 3-4 months, and the appeal just went out of doing photography.
So when you say taking pictures of doing things that'll sell, are you paparazzi? You chase celebrities? I mean, what kind of photography are we talking?
So let's see. So I would submit nature photographs, stock images, and they were good pictures. This was back in the slide era, but you just are dependent on someone saying, "Oh, that's the image that I need for my particular purpose," right? So then I began writing articles to go. Photographs to go with the article would go with photographs.
So kind of like a shooter on call. Hey, this is our subject. Go give me these images.
Yes. Yeah. So, but that got very old in a hurry. So then it was much more about, this is the subject. How am I going to depict that? Rather than just going out and taking photographs of what appealed to them.
The thing is like a lot of people, when they talk about getting paid for photographs, you think like portrait galleries,
Wedding photographers.
And things like none of that ever appealed to you, huh?
No.
Really starting to feel this antisocial vibe. There's people involved in all of the things I mean. You're like, no, I just can't shoot people. But a lot of people that do get into photography, it's like, well, if I'm going to do photography for a living, that's exactly where they think that it has to go. You have to either be a shooter on call, here's the project, here's the stuff that we want, or you kind of have to be, I don't know, like a person that shoots people all the time, like a model photographer, a paparazzi type. Those are the type that earn a little bit of money. And other than that, you've got weddings and real estate. So out of all of those things, you never went into any of them. You just decided, I think I want to do this as something greater.
Well, at least different. So being able to make a living in another way, by spending time with people, allowed me to be able to do photography the way I'd like to, which is to look for those things that appeal to me and express the thoughts and feelings I have.
The thing is, though, it's like people forget that with the information age, that we just got out of this age of a bunch of different architectural styles, building styles, city layout styles, all of this stuff kind of convalescing in all of the, I'd say the last 4 decades across the United States, including here in Hawaii. A lot of people don't realize that these images that you're taking are going to show something that will disappear soon. In the age of information, everything's kind of getting boring, bland, and there's no grand designs, and there's no thought process to how does this building look. It's all about function. Do you ever find yourself taking pictures of places merely because of the unutilitarian look of them?
Well, old buildings certainly appeal to me because they have a lot of character.
Oh yeah.
And I like doing old buildings because for many of them they won't be around that long. For example, the church we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand it's had some renovations and it isn't clear yet whether it's actually going to come back together the way it was before.
Right. It's there-ish, as they like to say. But that's just it. When we take a picture of buildings and things like that, these are things that we don't realize. They change all the time, and years from now, when you're walking down the same streets with the same names, nothing looks the same. And there's always good to have that image of, this was then when. Do you find yourself being kind of an almost a historian sometimes with the pictures that you want to take of, ooh, I've got to get this before?
Sometimes.
What's the biggest thing that drives you to take a picture? Besides your car? Or your wife telling you to get out of the house or clean up?
Just the visual appeal.
Visual appeal. Well, let's talk about visual appeals real quick because I don't want to run out of time. This is our treat for today. It is a vegan pecan raspberry crumble. And I brought you out a fork, and this is how we're going to end the show. If somebody wants to get in touch with you to order any prints or anything like that, how can?
So just come by Wailuku Coffee and talk to the staff here. They'll know how to reach me, or you can arrange the transaction with them, and money will eventually get to me.
Oh, so you like the you're right, very mysterious. You know, you go out when nobody's around. You're like, no websites, no phone numbers. You find my paintings where they're up. You get them there, and it'll somehow get back to me. Is there a cloak in your future? Mark, thanks for coming out today.
Yes. Nice talking with you.
For everybody, we'll see you on the next CoffeeCast. Until then.
Bye now.